I was listening to the top 25 rap and hip hop list on Spotify, trying to get down with the kids, keep relevant. And I was horrified at the lyrics. I'm getting old. But the other half of the lyrics I couldn't actually understand. And so it turns out there's this amazing site called Rap Genius, which deciphers the text for you. Turns out it's even more depressing than I thought. However, that's not the point of this particular video. As I was having a look at Rap Genius, because it's a very clever site, it allows you to annotate the lyrics and it's crowdsourced, very clever. But I noticed that they actually just received a very large investment, I think around $15 million from Andreessen Horowitz, which is the golden child of Silicon Valley venture capital firms. Very interesting firm. And so I thought, oh, this is interesting. And it turns out what they're going to do is they're going to take that model and apply it to all sorts of media. In fact, you can annotate pretty much every or any web page, which is really interesting in and of itself. Still not the reason for this video. One of the things I saw was their actual statement of how they want to conduct their business. And the very first sort of credo, if you will, it was called Run into the Spike. And what that means is that when you're faced with a choice of doing two things, you automatically pick the one that's the most painful for you to do. And this is a pretty fascinating thing when you think about it. Do you watch TV or do you do that 30 minutes of writing that you were meant to do? Well, push the spike. It's obviously the writing. Do you want to play PlayStation or do you finish off doing that budget? Well, push the spike says the budget. And it got me thinking, imagine if you lived a whole week like this. And what sort of life would you have? And initially I'm thinking, oh, geez, it'd be pretty horrible. You'd be working all the time. But no, oftentimes the push the spike thing to do is actually to have a break, to perhaps practice mindfulness or meditate for 20 minutes might actually be the best use of your time. And, for me, going to the gym or reading a book, it's probably going to the gym is the push the spike. But if I am a fitness instructor with a burgeoning fitness business and I'm wanting to find out new clients, maybe reading the book is better. So it's individual for each person. There's no universal answer to push the spike. But it's a fascinating methodology when you think about it. And, I was thinking, boy, if you did do that, even if you tried it for a couple of days, it'd be very interesting to see the results. So this is my little bit of a challenge, and it's something I've been doing over the last week or so, and it makes pretty dramatic difference. So, why don't you try it for a couple of days where anytime you're faced with a choice, ask yourself, what's the run into the spike option? And do that option. Two things happen. One is you find you're much less stressed about decision making because, well, the choice is obvious. Usually the push into the spike, run into the spike one is a very obvious thing, right? And two, you'll be amazed at what you get done. Just don't forget to, workaholics need to prioritize actual rest, recovery, enjoyment. And sometimes playing is the absolute best possible thing for you. But it's a really interesting one. So have a think about that today. Love to hear your thoughts in the comments below of this blog post. And and also on Twitter, you can send me a Twitter at ed_Dale. That's ed_Dale. And I'd love to hear your feedback on this. So it's really, really fascinating. It's rare that the statement runs out and just grabs you by the shirt and shakes you around a little bit. And this one really did. So have a think about it. Run into the spike. All right, we'll speak soon.